Hey, what's up, Will? How's it going?
Well, it's good, Bigsy. How are you doing today?
Yeah, really good. Thanks for asking.
That's good to hear. Anything new and exciting happened to you since I last saw you 2 days ago?
I've played lots and lots of Rust. I streamed, like I said I would. A bunch of people from the podcast came in and watched, so that was pretty cool. I watched Chelsea and Liverpool draw. That's about it. Nothing too exciting's been going on.
I started a new game yesterday.
Ooh, what are you playing?
You ever hear this game? It's called The Last of Us. You ever hear of this thing?
No. What system's it on?
Yeah, I started The Last of Us yesterday. A little girl died in the beginning, and I was like, eh.
Spoiler.
Well, it's in the first 5 minutes of the damn game. I don't know. She was annoying. She deserved to get cut off the show. But then so I'm playing that. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've done. Played that, watched some YouTube, just hang out, just waiting. Nice. Just waiting for the next show. I live for these shows. Episode 34.
Yeah, episode 34 of the PlayStation Collectors podcast, guys. Thanks for everyone who's come on the show so far. It's been awesome. We've got about 5 or 6 different guests lined up for the next couple of weeks. We are going to go down to one show a week moving forward because me and Will are getting old.
Fuck off, man. You made a big announcement last 3 weeks ago, and here we are, still the same schedule. It's like
no, we had all these episodes booked, so it wasn't like we were going to cancel. Just on that note, if anyone does want to come on the podcast, feel free to reach out to me or Will, and we'll try and arrange for something in the future. Definitely want to get people who watch onto the show because it's nice to talk to other collectors. Most people who watch are collectors, so it's really awesome. Also, on that note, Will,
one last note I'd like before we bring them on. If anybody wants to intern for the show, you get no usable job experience. The pay is shit, but we need an intern.
We get paid. That meme.
Oh man. But anyway, so who we got on tonight, Pigsy?
So tonight we have Jason coming on, aka Kurtori. Jason is a big PS3 and PS4 collector, as well as other systems. He has lots of holy grails in his collection. I'm personally very envious of his collection, so I'm really excited to talk to Jason. So please welcome Jason to the show, guys.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Jason. How you going?
Hey, good. How are you both?
I'm good.
Yeah, really good. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, man.
Hey, no, man. We're excited to have you on. And again, I'm going to apologize in advance if I call you Kurt.
Totally understandable. I set myself up for that.
So tell us, Jason, how long? Tell us about how long you've been at it. What's your focus? All of it.
So I've been kind of collecting games my entire life, to be frank. Like I grew up. My dad, introduced me to the ColecoVision, the Atari 2600. I mean, from birth, right? So these things were just always there. But I've been collecting. Like I can remember consciously collecting as far back as like Sega Genesis, SNES. Like I remember even back in the day, I was able to get my hands when it was new on like a Star Fox competition cartridge, the weekend competition. Ooh. I got it through Nintendo Power for $40 or whatever it was. And even as a kid, I was like, this is special. I was in the competition and I won a t-shirt and I'm like, this is awesome. I'll be honest, I don't have that cartridge anymore, but I did have it. And things like Final Fight Guy, I bought used from Blockbuster and it became what it became. And so stuff like that, I've just been kind of after the weird stuff my entire life, really. But I got really seriously into collecting around the time of Limited Run, I was there for Limited Run #1 with Breach and Clear on Vita. And I was thinking, man, this is so cool. And, 1,500 copies. And who knew that years later, there'd be hundreds of Limited Run games. And I kept my full Limited Run set going. So I've got a full set of PS4 Limited Run games and variant covers, which is taking up a wall now. I never thought I'd get that far, but I'm kind of hooked. So I've been kind of doing it forever,
What consoles do you collect for?
I'd say I have the largest collection for PS4. Most games on PS4 in my collection. Also, Sega Dreamcast, really big Sega Dreamcast collection, big PS Vita collection, decent sized Switch collection. And I'm kind of selective in all the other categories. Like I've got some one-offs here and there of things I like for different consoles.
Nice.
Do you have all the consoles hooked up to your TV?
Not anymore, I'll be honest. But they're accessible. If I need them.
And I got a 2, a 3, a 4, and now a 5 hooked up to the TV. No need for the 1, no need for the handhelds. And the kids got the. But did you? So Dreamcast, Vita, PS4, no PS3.
So definitely PS3, but PS3, I mean, comparatively, it's a small number, maybe like around like 150 to 200, believe it or not, PS3 games. Considering some of the stuff I have in my collection, as small as it is, it's not as big as like PS4, which I have like 1400.
Holy shit!
Still 10% of the library, where the PS4 library is like 3 times the size.
Exactly. Like PS3, I love everything I've gotten there, and PS4, it's like, yeah, some of it's iffy, but I like it.
Are you going for a complete PS4 set?
So I'm not going for a complete PS4 set again, despite the huge number. I know that sounds almost like a contradiction, but I just go for the stuff that interests me. It just turns out a lot of stuff interests me, so it turned out to be a large number. But I just don't want to have a shelf full of every Madden game, every FIFA game. It's going to take up space, and I'm just not into it. I should also mention I'm really into collecting the not for resale kiosk games for some of the Nintendo consoles. So I've got a full set of not for resale games for the Nintendo DS for the US, North America, including all the Pokemon distribution cartridges. For 3DS also all the kiosk cartridges for US and Europe. So there are some full sets I go for, but those are relatively limited.
Do you got any kiosks?
I don't, because the hardware part of it doesn't interest me quite as much. I can play all of those like DS and 3DS, and also Wii. I've got a full set of Wii kiosk games and demo, not for resale kind of games. I can play those on retail hardware, so that's what appeals to me in a way, that they're like single game demo discs or cartridges that I could play on my regular 3DS or DS or Wii. But the hardware, strangely, that's just not something I ever really got into.
And, Jason, you were sorry. I had a question about your limited run set. Are you going to continue collecting a full PS4 limited run set with the mind that they might go on for years?
It's a painful thought, but I feel like I'm so committed to it at this point. I'm kind of all in. I'll see if my mind changes later, but I've got every one at this point, and it's a little bit of an addiction. Like, what's even more addicting there is that, back in the day, PS4 limited run games were actually limited to like 1,000 or 1,500 or 2,000. Yeah. Then they were open pre-orders, which made it a lot less exciting to me. And now they're back down to like for those weird Chemco RPGs, like 1,000 copies. And so I don't know if anybody will ever really want those down the road, but knowing how limited they are kind of excites me again and makes me want to keep going.
Well, I was going to add they're back down to 1,000 because they wouldn't have been selling many copies, and they would have been like, hang on, guys, we're doing this open pre-order for a month and we've sold 1,500 copies.
Yeah.
Or they may have even sold less. So then they've gone back to the old technique to try and get FOMO again. People buying them thinking that, oh, it's only 1,500. I better buy this.
Yeah,
and just on that note, I showed something last week. It was from a low print company over in Europe. I'll grab it in a second, but I mentioned the company actually went broke, and they discounted all their games to like $5 each. So just because a game's got 1,000 copies doesn't mean it's going to be expensive. I'll grab the title quickly just to show you.
No, it's true. You're totally right. I'm not doing it for value as much as it interests me.
At what rate are they dropping PS4 games? Like 2 a month, 3 a month, 4 a month?
I want to say it's like 4 or 5 now. But then there's also the distribution line, which is still limited run published, but now they have it on their Amazon store in the US. So yeah, several titles there. I guess they're not even really limited anymore. I assume that they'll reprint things like Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge because they're popular, right? And they're not limited run official titles, even though they're published by them. So that's a little bit of a contradiction there. And again, like like you said, there's so many titles sitting around because they're not selling. I think that's the whole reason for the limited run store in North Carolina. Like they're moving unsold inventory that was just kind of sitting around.
100%. Another thing to add, I used to use their website. Like I was an avid limited run buyer from 2015 to 2019. I rarely do it, but these days when I do and check out the website, I like to check out all the games for sale. I noticed they sell a lot of games that they don't actually do. And I've bought some, and I'm like, well, this is weird. It hasn't got limited run games on the spine. What's going on?
What's really interesting? Like a good example of those are the Wired Entertainment games, like that Moon title. I can't think of the name of right now. There's a couple of titles that are not even limited run branded in any way. But what's interesting is that I've compared like the spine numbers and the barcode numbers to the versions that hit retail by Wired Entertainment, and they're actually published. They really are republished by Limited Run. They just don't put their branding on it. So it's like a strange little variant that nobody's interested in or looking at except for me and like two other
sold
people.
for more money.
Yeah. I mean, eventually people will
because Limited Run don't discount their games.
Yeah, exactly. Totally.
Just on that game I was talking about before, this is
Yep.
Hello Indie Calypso. So the studio is Senjundo Soft Games, and they've gone broke. I was speaking to Jonas, who's a collector who watches the podcast, and he said one of his friends actually bought all their inventory. So so many of these limited run type companies have popped up that they're actually going broke. People aren't buying all these games.
And I paid full price for that game before it hit $5, so I'm one of those people.
Figsy, what was the name? Figsy, what was the name of the game?
Oh,
I think it's Indiocalypse or something like that.
And ladies and gentlemen, this has been Figsy. Name that game.
Yeah, it's Indiocalypse.
You called it Calypso? Hello, Die Calypso?
Well, I was reading it like this. Line by line. So. But then when you look at the spine.
I love your illiterate ass, Figsy.
But like, funny you say that, Jason, because I remember when I first started buying limited run games, the thing that I was saying, like I never, prior to them, I never bought for like investment or anything like that. But buying them, I was buying them and I was saying, well, I'm buying these games for me, it wasn't just $25. It was like 50 or 60 Australian after you pay, import fees and postage and translating the currency fees and everything. Anyway, I'm saying these games are always going to be worth at least what I pay for them. And for the first year or two, that's correct. Like most of them were worth more. But like today, I can go on eBay and buy limited run games cheaper than what they sell them for.
Yeah. And that's painful. And so for me, yeah, that hurts because I remember when they were always worth more than what they were released at, right? But just because I enjoy collecting a full set of limited run in particular, like on my shelf, it's actually numbered by spine number. And so it's not alphabetized. I just like seeing the chronological progression of
mine's the same. I prefer that as well. Only because they do that little detail. That's one of the things I like about limited run games.
Yeah. Exactly.
Jason, are you getting everything from Limited Run, or sometimes you're getting stuff late from eBay or here and there?
When it comes to PS4, I just get it from them, and I try to lump as many titles into one package to save on shipping. For Switch, I started with a full set, and I just realized, I'm not interested enough in Switch collecting to really want to go that far. So I think I got every Switch limited run game for the first year and a half or so, and then I just went to the ones that interested me.
What about the Vita?
I do have a full limited run Vita set.
Ooh. So that leads to another question. Do you have that special cart that they sent out to collectors who were going for full sets?
Oh, that one, Revenge of the Bird King. So that I don't have yet because they haven't actually sent them yet. The ones that are out there are kind of leaked copies from people who knew people or however they got them.
I thought it was just a Vita cart that didn't actually have a game inside. It just said like thank you and limited run games on the front.
That one I've got.
Okay.
Yeah. And actually it's right here. I think. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's cool, but it's just a metal
collectible coin
cartridge. But
I've
it's
seen
cool.
people selling them for like $500 on eBay.
Oh shit! So what other grails have you got for other consoles? I know you brought some stuff to show off, and I'm itching to see them. What else you got for us, Jason? Let's see them. Rare. What's the word? What's the word? The term they use? Rare gem? No, hidden gems? No. Undiscovered jewels. What else you got over there?
So some of these are discovered. I'm not going to lie. Some of them are kind of hidden gemish, I guess I'll say. Semi-precious. I don't know. Just trying to go with the theme. So
solid gold, baby.
Definitely not gold, but plastic and shiny. So yeah, so I just kind of pulled some off the shelf, some PS4, some PS3, some Vita, a little bit of 3DS, a little bit of Dreamcast, and a little bit of DS. So anywhere you want to start?
You can start wherever you like. This is your segment.
Yeah, let's go.
So I might as well start with PS3, and I know that you guys know some of the stuff I've got here.
We know. I just
So yeah, I mean, I guess it's safe to say probably the biggest gem in my collection is NBA Elite 11.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Let's
tell us the story on how you got this, man. I've heard it before. I love this story.
So it's a crazy story. It's crazier because I actually used to have 5 copies, and I'm down to 1. So okay, my first copy. This is my first copy. Still have it. All were sealed, by the way. Okay, so I actually got this off eBay. That's not entirely true. I'll take another step back. Back in the day when copies started to appear on eBay, you remember they were like maybe up to $300 for a sealed copy. They were like $150 to $200 for a disc-only copy. Wherever those came from, I'm not sure. But excuse me. So somebody had sold a copy for like $250 or so, and I regretted not getting it. This was really before I got hardcore into collecting modern games, and it was really the story of NBA Elite that interested me the most. That a game got that far, right? Like it got so far, it was a troubled game. EA knew it was a problem. They just kept making it, and eventually they pressed it, and they canceled it after they pressed it, which I find insane, right? Like if you're going to cancel it, why are you wasting the money to continue to produce it and then actually manufacture it? I just found that fascinating, right? Yeah, and I wasn't really a PS3 collector. I just thought that was an insane situation that this exists. Excuse me. So yeah, I saw that a seller had sold a sealed copy on eBay like around $250. And I contacted that guy, the seller, and I was like, hey, do you have any more? And he's like, yeah, I'll sell you one on the side. And I got it for like $250 sealed. And I was like, okay, cool. I was happy with that. And I'm still very obviously happy with that. But as time went on, I'm like, I know there are more copies out there. They're somewhere, right? Like, how do I get them? And I just kind of went one day on a mad Google search. And I found a wholesaler, like a company who acquired unsold Amazon merchandise. So as far as I know, Amazon never shipped any copies of this, even for pre-orders. As far as I know, they were never just sent by Amazon. But I found this retailer who bought unsold or returned or both Amazon merchandise. And then they just resold it at like, below retail prices. And so I found a site that was actually called, no joke, nobetterdeal.com. They don't exist anymore, but that's actually what they were called. And I found, just by searching for NBA Elite PS3, I found this website called nobetterdeal.com. They said they had 9 copies of NBA Elite for $35 each.
Oh my God. You took 5 of them?
So what I was thinking is, this has got to be wrong. Like they're going to steal my money. Like I didn't have the money to take the risk on all 9 copies. I bought one, and I'm like, I'm never going to receive this. They're never going to send it. Get a shipping confirmation, and one day, a couple days later, it shows up. It's a sealed copy of NBA Elite for $35. So first thing I do, right, I rush back to that website, and I'm like, okay, are they still there? Like, does anybody know this site exists? It went down from 9 to 4 remaining copies. So 5 more were sold. Totally regret that, right? But I bought the remaining 4 copies. A couple days later, 4 more or 3 more, whatever losing track here. I had five in all. So I guess I bought 4 from them. I got 3 more sealed copies for $35 each. So ultimately I had a total of 5 sealed NBA Elites. Then I got laid off from my job, and this is now 2012. I had like a trip planned to New York. I planned to spend money there, and I lost my job like 2 days before. And so I ended up eBaying 3 of my 5 NBA Elites for $400 to $600 each. And believe me, I regret that a lot. But it helped me to pay for the trip. It helped me to pay for my rent when I got back. It was just like a survival thing. And also, I was still thinking 2012. More of these might show up one day. I really didn't think they just wouldn't resurface. I was thinking I got to them first and more will show up somewhere.
Well, they still might. You don't know.
It could still happen.
I
And so
still
I'm
had
down
to
to 2.
scream that this happens again, and I find $35 copies.
What's the name of that? What's the name of that website again? Is that place still around?
They are gone, but
Oh,
it was
man.
called nobetterdeal.com. It was freaking ridiculous that I'm buying NBA Elite for $35 from nobetterdeal.com.
Jesus.
So that
As a
last
PS3 collector, I love this story, man. It's awesome.
So the 4th copy, right, from them, I held on to it, and I think I sold it a couple years later. It was like 2014 for like, I think it was $1,250 at that time. And I kept my original. So I'm down to 1. Of course, I wish I hadn't sold all those, but I still have a photo somewhere of all 5 of them stacked up.
Oh man, wow,
That'd be a good troll pick for the groups. Today's pickups. Found these sport games for $1 each. Does anyone know about them?
Can we see that? Bring that thing up again. Can we see that again? There it is.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Any thoughts of sending it off to get graded?
I've had that thought a lot, and my first thought is always, what if it gets lost? And then I revisit that thought later, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Did you see the Pokemon game? It just got destroyed by US Customs.
Did you hear about that one?
I don't think I heard about that one.
Like this week, a game was graded by either Wada or VGA, and the guy got it back, and it had been smashed, the case, and they ripped the front cover off of it.
Yeah,
that is like my worst nightmare when I think about sending this off.
Well, that was U.S. Customs. Was it coming from England or Canada?
Regardless, I mean, it would have been an overseas collector. But, like, I've had games that I've bought overseas, and they get opened by customs.
Yeah,
you're safer because you're in America, Jason, so you're sending to an American company. But like, regardless, I wouldn't want to send that out. If the mailman finds out that that's worth $20,000, then he might quit his job, and take it.
Exactly. I mean, like FedEx and UPS are safer, but still, I'm afraid to put this in a box and say, "Here, take this." And
like, what do you do? Do you insure it for $20,000? Because
I mean, you can. I mean, you can insure it, but some overnight third party service would probably be the way to go. So registered mail. But I would, if I had the fucking thing, I would. I mean,
I think I will.
Shit.
I think I will at some point. I just keep hoping that they'll do some on-site grading at some point, like at a convention or something. I think they typically don't, but
can you deliver games to them and pick them up?
Yeah, and actually, I heard about
California,
VGA. Yeah, and I'm in California, so and that's in like Santa Ana, I think. So it's not real wherever it is. It's like it's Orange County, so it's not too far away from me. I could do it, and I feel better about that. But still, it's like a 6 or 9 month or whatever it is, delay.
Yeah, I mean, there's collectors out there that, like, say you had a perfect seal of Mario Kart 64. If I own that, I would be more comfortable to fly there, hand it to them, and then fly back and pick it up in person. So I'm sure they offer that service.
That's true. Yeah, I should consider it. I do intend to grade it at some point. I just haven't.
And if you tell them what you've got, they're probably like, "Yeah, please, we'll welcome that. We haven't seen one for a couple of years."
Yeah, I mean,
so you're gonna give it. So you've decided on VGA. We're not going with Wada here.
I haven't decided where I'm going to grade it yet.
No, you did. I think VGA is the safe bet. Well, the safer bet.
I wouldn't go with anyone.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I mean, it's a 6 to 8 month wait for a reason.
Have you ever have you ever graded anything before? You got anything graded?
I actually haven't. I have lots of stuff that's grading worthy for sure, but I just haven't. I haven't done it, and I think I'm going to change that at some point. I just haven't gotten around to it. I
talked to a guy who does grading. I don't remember exactly, but I guess they based on the price of the game or the value of the game. That's part of their fee. So it probably costs you a pretty penny to have that thing graded.
Yeah.
But,
Probably more than the $400 or $500 I sold these copies for in like 2012.
Oh,
In
man.
saying that, like if you were to get it graded, I'd probably only get it graded if I was going to sell it myself. And that's what I've said about certain expensive pieces in my collection. You know, if I'm going to sell it, I'd get it graded first, and it would probably be worth doing.
Well, that's the other thing. I don't really. Maybe someday I'll sell it. You know, like for my kids' college something one day. But I mean, it's like I don't intend to sell it. I enjoy having this copy. You know, so.
Yep.
I'm good with it. You know, I have it in a plastic box, which will protect it from
exactly. And if
Yeah.
you're not going to sell it, why would you get it graded? Or do you guys spend $600 so you can put it on a shelf in a bigger box?
Yeah. I mean, it defeats the whole point of getting off nobetterdeal.com for $35, right?
And if they graded an 8.2 or something, you probably won't feel good about it, you know.
I'd like to think it's better,
Send it
but
back.
yeah, it would suck if somebody's like, "Oh no, I see a little mark on the cellophane. That's an 8."
Now, while we're talking about grading, I was watching Get the Games Greg, who's actually coming on the podcast at the end of this month or next month. Anyway, he was talking about grading companies doing more complete in box games and how complete in box games scene is actually getting really popular. And it's especially cardboard stuff, and it's all done on condition, which as a PS3 collector collecting like slipcovers for years, I've been saying that for a long time. Yeah, so have you guys ever heard about like people getting complete in box stuff graded?
It's not my scene. I honestly, I know one person who deals in graded games, and I barely talk to him about it. But nah, I just,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
I wouldn't
I
mind
don't
getting a slipcover graded because it's something that, like, you know, it's where a game's plastic, where this is cardboard. You know, once it's in that sleeve, it's always going to be protected.
I
Yeah.
gotta.
Go on.
So Marin say 76. Is this the last episode? Because how does anyone top a sealed NBA elite after this?
What's up, Mark?
Yes, this is the final episode.
I killed it.
The final boss.
Yeah, well, what else? Well, okay, so you showed us NBA 11. What else you got in your bag of tricks, Jason? It's gonna be hard to top that one.
So I'm not going to claim anything's going to top that, but I have weird stuff to show. So it's in that category of weirdness, but not
There's any
notoriety.
PS4 collectors, they might disagree. They might be like, you've topped it.
I got a couple PS4 things to show you guys, but I'll stick by system, right? So I'll show you a couple more PS3 that I pulled out. And this is one that I don't see anybody talk about. And I'm not honestly sure how rare it is, but I've not seen it again since I picked it up.
You have me intrigued now.
So this is Darkstalkers Resurrection.
I showed that on the last episode podcast.
Oh, really?
No, you showed Vampire. This is Darkstalkers. This is Korean copy, right?
Exactly. That's the thing. So
sitting right next to me from last episode.
But this is
the,
it's the same, but not the
this
same.
is the Chinese copy, this one.
So Darkstalkers, yeah. I mean, in Asia, it was released as Vampire Chronicle, and it's relatively common, right? It was a retail release. But in Korea, Vampire Chronicle is known as Darkstalkers, like it is in North America. And in Korea, it actually got a physical pressing with the name Darkstalkers Resurrection, and that's the only territory in the world that had a pressing
cool.
with that title.
God,
So, and it plays in English as well.
I want one. I had Vampire coming in and out of my collection because once they dropped the Capcom Fighting Collection on PS4, it's obviously the better version. I had jumped on that and I was like, yeah, I don't need this anymore, and I let it go. But
It's understandable.
I shit. Now I got. God damn it! Now I want it. But I quit collecting pieces.
The Japanese version plays in English too. I made the mistake of posting a photo on Instagram saying for sale, and then realized I didn't actually have this version in the collection, and had like 6 PMs of people going, "Can I buy that game?" And I'm like, "Oh, kind of keeping it."
Yeah, I mean, like a disc copy of the game, it plays exactly the same as the Japanese one. Like it plays the North American version on like, or whatever it is, and the English version on an English, firmware. But like inside, even the disc says Darkstalkers. It's just really cool to me, because that's how I know the franchise is Darkstalkers, not Vampire Chronicle.
Where'd you find it? Cool. How'd you track that one down?
So I got that on eBay at launch because I was already looking for a copy of Vampire Chronicle. And so I was like looking on eBay and I found a South Korean seller who just had it as Darkstalkers. And I'm like, is that right? Is that real? And yeah, it's real. And I bought it. It was like $20 from Korea. I opened it and played it. It was sealed. I wish I hadn't opened it. But
Jason, I got to tell you, you're pissing me off with these prices.
I'm lucky. I mean, I've had a lot of luck.
Yeah, but if you bought that at release, those were the prices back in 2010, 2012, 2013, even 2015. Video games, paying $60 for a video game, unless it came out that week, that wasn't a thing.
Yeah, no, it's true. You're absolutely right, man. So definitely no NBA Elite, but it's in the weird category of just stuff that I'm really happy to own.
It ticks the it's not in Pigsy's collection box, so I think that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, if it's not on your shelf, it's got to be something.
What else we got? So
this is one I think I learned about this from a group on Facebook that you're the admin of, Pigsy. So thank you for that. If I'm remembering right, at least I think I am. But one of the group members, Arif, had posted, hey, have you ever heard of this or seen this before? But I believe this is a Southeast Asian PS3 English language demo and trailer disc.
I did see that the other day.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I believe this is Southeast Asian. So like Malaysia, Singapore, and it's got a playable English demo of The Last Guy and Metal Gear Solid 4 on it. And it's got a trailer for the English version of Aquanaut's Holiday on there.
That's really cool.
So yeah, like I had never heard of this, never seen it. I saw your post I think your reply, Figsy, saying you had never seen it before either. And I'm like, oh man. And so I contacted the guy and I was able to pick up one of the two copies he had. He had one sealed and one opened, and I was able to get the sealed from him.
I'm pretty sure there's a Japanese version of that. It's the red and the silver one, and that's just the Asian version of that demo disc.
Yeah. So I learned later, yeah, there is that one. But I guess Southeast Asia just had an English cover. Maybe the disc itself has English.
I love it. It's awesome. I've never seen that variant before.
It's freaking awesome. Yeah, like it's got. I love like the old PS3 packaging. Just into it.
On those packs, there was a time in like 2016, 17 where Western sellers were selling those demo discs for like $200 a pop, and people in Japan got a hold of them and were like, "These are like $5 in Japan." And started flooding the market, and now they're like, you can literally pick them up for like $20.
I remember that, and like I've been lucky enough right before the pandemic to go to Japan a couple times, and I went to Akihabara each time. And it's just so crazy to see the prices that things go for there. Even targeting tourists, right? It's just like the prices there on some of this stuff. It's just common,
I'm just
stuff.
Gonna grab those discs so people that are watching know what I'm talking about.
Where did he go? All of a sudden he was there. Now he's gone. What did he say he was going to do?
I kind of missed it.
Oh, he's probably crawling under his desk to grab a game on the far wall behind his desk.
Oh, I probably one of those Japanese demos. Oh, hey.
Yeah, the Japanese games live under the desk.
But newsflash.
These are the demo packs that we're referring to.
Pigsy is a hand puppet.
I remember those, and I do remember those going for crazy prices till.
Yeah, so this one here is the one that you've got. It's got The Last Guy playable, and then it's got Africa and Aquanaut's Holiday as a video, which is really cool.
I didn't realize that was
one for like $10 on eBay today.
Yep. Do you know if they play like in English on an English language firmware, or is it all Japanese regardless?
My copy's sealed, so I can't answer that. And I won't be finding out. Sorry.
I'll Google it.
Someone might know. If you guys do, let us know. Please let us know in the comments. All right, Jason. Hold off on showing anything else. I gotta take a potty break. So
okay.
Anyone had 35 minutes?
I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss him. I'll be right back.
I will.
We got Fujitsu coming in at 30 minutes and Langer's at 40. I think we got a draw here. We'll say good day to everyone while Will's gone. What's up, Tezza? How you going, man? Yeah, Kurt's in here. Kurt was saying Unreal, talking about NBA Elite 11.
Hey, Kurt.
AJ's in here. Hey, AJ, how's it going?
Hey, man.
As well as Robert. Hey, Robert. And we got David. We got Chaos. What's up, Chaos? Hattie's in here. Turner. Hey, Turner. Mark's in here as well as Bantfy. And Moonrunner. G'day, guys. Thanks, everyone, for coming in. Joe's in here as well. What's up, Joe? And we've got Fujitsubo, which is Andy. What's up, Andy? Tezza was saying, nice to meet you, Kurtori.
Hey, nice to meet you.
I was looking behind you. Obviously, the Jack pack stand out, but then the shelf below that, you've got this big red collector's edition. Is that the game Will?
Yeah, it's Will, and it was an exclusive to the Milestone US store, and it has like a plush inside, but it's also got a cover variant that wasn't available in any other form.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know it had a collector's pack at all. That's really cool.
Yeah, I can actually pull it.
Good morning, Rasmus.
Yep, here it is.
Ooh, that's really, really cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, it's for the Switch. Okay, that makes sense with the red box.
Yeah. So I can't remember what it looks like, but it has a cover variant in there that it's only in this edition, and this edition was only sold on their online store.
Nice. I just bought that game for the podcast because of Will.
Oh, nice.
What's up, Jay? How you doing, man? So I wanted to say congratulations to you, Jason. You just became a dad, so congratulations, man.
Thank you. Yeah, my first kid, only kid as of now, was born on Christmas, and I haven't slept since. But it's been awesome.
Have you got any gaming done since Christmas?
No, I've gotten no sleep. I've gotten a few meals. Yeah, no gaming, unfortunately.
Oh, that's a shame. I'm sure you'll have plenty of time for that in the future, hopefully together.
I hope so. Yeah, I want to. One day I look forward to just like playing a Super Mario game on the couch with my kid. Like that just seems surreal and awesome.
Yeah, or your kid picking a game out of your collection saying, "Can we play this one?" And it's like one of your favorite games that you've played, and you're really excited.
Yep. And like, when it's something like, hey, what about Poop Slinger? And it'll be like, no, don't play that one.
I want to play this NBA game. It looks fun.
You don't like old basketball games. That's what I'll tell you. There's nothing to see here.
We've got a question from Mark. He says, explain the name Kurtori.
So it's a legacy thing that I feel both stuck with, and I'm used to it because it's been forever. I think it was my first AOL screen name, like in the 90s. So it's embarrassing now to talk about the origins of it, but I was a big Nirvana fan in high school, and so the Kurt was Kurt Cobain. I was a big Nirvana fan. I was also a big Tori Amos fan because it was the 90s and I was into that kind of thing. And so I just combined the two names, and so it's Kurt Cobain and Tori Amos stuck together. And now I'm not so much of a Tori Amos fan. I still like Nirvana, but yeah. So it just kind of became. I started buying and selling on eBay in the 90s, and so that was my username there, and on Assembler, on all these other forums, Nintendo Age, things that don't exist anymore. I just kind of kept that identity, and people kind of know me by that by now. So I stuck with it.
Can you fill me in on who Tori Amos is? I obviously know Kurt Cobain, but I'm not too familiar with
Tori who?
Tori Amos.
Yeah, she's another singer. I can't.
Yep, she's like a singer-songwriter. She plays the piano. She had still does have bright red hair.
Oh, that was the stage name she went by. I've never heard of her before.
Yeah, she was very big in the 90s. She still exists now, but much smaller kind of fan base. But yeah, so I was really into the two of them, and yeah, I still got it.
Nice. I like that you've kept it all this time. You know, it's got meaning to it as well.
Yeah, people know me by it, so I just kept it.
Jason, I wanted to ask. I like to ask people this question: how many games are in your collection in total?
I'd have to guess. I probably like I said, PS4 13 to 1400. Vita, I don't know. Like I'd have to do an inventory in my head. I've never really counted, honestly.
Aren't you tracking? You got a tracker? Or?
You know, believe it or not, I don't, because I just know what's there. I know. I have it's crazy. I have such a huge number.
So you even know the exact number to like the one digit, or you don't know at all because you're tracking it.
I don't exactly know at all. I just know if I have it or if I want it or if I need it, you know, like probably around, I don't know, like 2000 maybe.
Yep. It's very, very respectable. That's for sure. Someone in chat was saying, are those the Jack and Daxter games behind you?
They are. Those are the collector's editions of 1, 2, 3 and Jack X from Limited Run.
I do regret not getting those.
They're nice. I mean, like it was pretty exciting when Limited Run grew to the point of legitimacy that they could get like first party Sony games published through their label. That to me was like a big moment, you know. And I'm not I'll be honest, I like Jack, but I'm not the biggest Jack fan. I thought that was just super cool that, you know, the platform holder is allowing them to license their own IP to publish on their platform. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was awesome. I just got to check on my dog, guys. Sorry,
sure.
1 second.
What did I miss while I was gone? Did you show off any other games, Jason?
So on the shelf, Figsy called out the Switch game Will, and this is a limited edition that I picked up off of the Milestone US store. So this edition was only sold there, and inside is a plush and a cover variant of the standard game. So that was all you missed. We just talked about that.
That's me. That's my name. I've looked at that game. Is it a visual novel? Do you know anything about the game?
I remember the artwork being cool, but I never actually. I've got a standard version I haven't opened. I intended to play eventually, and I think it's like action related. That
leads to my next question. What are you currently playing? What's in your console right now?
So actually, one thing you did miss is we were talking about how I just had a kid on Christmas, and so I'm not sleeping or unfortunately playing much right now. But I'm trying to think of what I had been playing before the kid was born. Let's see, a little bit of God of War Ragnarok on PS5. What else? I had gotten that Joe and Mac remake on PS5 as well. That wasn't amazing, I'll be honest with you. Graphically, it's cool, but they kept it a little too true to the original. I didn't think that they improved on those like 90s controls that they could have, you know, much more seamlessly integrated. They kept it a little bit too real. What else? I was playing Shredder's Revenge also before the kid was born, and now that the kid is born, I've played nothing. So I hope that's going to change soon.
Pro tip: if you cradle the baby in one arm, right, you can crook a bottle under your neck and just hold it there, and you can play games at the same time. I've mastered this technique, and with a little practice, you should be able to pull it off as well.
I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that right after this, actually.
Yeah, dad life.
Balance the kid on one knee. See if I drop him. Hopefully not.
No.
Not literally.
Or you can get. Do you know what a baby Bjorn is?
Oh, that's like one of those things that you can wear. Is that right?
Yeah, it's basically like it's like a backpack, but it goes on your chest.
Yeah.
And the baby sticks out. It's got holes in the bottom and legs and arms. Yeah, those are good too.
I got one of those, and I haven't figured out how to fasten it yet.
Yeah, it's a bit of a puzzle, but yeah, baby Bjorn and the neck crook bottle.
Father of the year.
Can check that out.
Follow me for more parenting tips.
Right.
Got a question from you for you, Jason, from chat. Mark's asking, would love to see a Radiant Silvergun Limited Run Games 164, please.
Sure. I'm gonna have to go off camera for just a second to get it.
AJ was answering the game that Will is. So I believe Will's a visual novel where you play as God and you have to answer prayers. That's interesting.
Shit, that makes sense. Yeah, Will, I'm a video game god. No.
So number 164 is actually Power Rangers. Oh, there it is.
Ooh.
I got that one in my collection. I bought it because it was cheap.
Maybe Mark was referring to the Switch or the Vita version.
So it's not on Vita. It is on Switch. I don't know if I've received my Switch copy yet.
No, but anyway, guys, before Will was going, we were doing some show and tell. Jason was showing us some stuff.
Oh, yes.
So,
Let's
get back to where we were.
Before we get into the PS4 stuff, may we see, I don't know, DS or the Dreamcast stuff that you brought on?
Sure. So let's see. This is again just like random, not entirely. Just I have a lot of favorites in my collection, but I just picked a few. So
Mark was saying, yeah, it was for the Switch.
I don't know if I've received mine yet, but my Switch is not totally organized right now. So if I did get it, it's a bit of a blur because of the kid. There you go, still in production. I thought I hadn't gotten it yet. So okay, jumping around. So some Dreamcast, right? I've got nearly a full Dreamcast set. I've got all the ones I want. It's a large number, but no particular order. So this is kind of, it's known to be like the holy grail for US Dreamcast stuff, but Sonic Adventure Limited Edition.
Nice, man. That looks pristine too, that copy.
It's like, it actually, there were a couple of ways that this was distributed in the US. It was included with kiosks, the very first US Dreamcast kiosks. And it was also rented at Hollywood Video in the US before the Dreamcast was released. So they had like a pilot program where you could rent the Dreamcast within the month before the release, and then hopefully you'll pre-order it and get excited about it. So this was like a pre-release version of the game. All the ones from Hollywood Video had those ugly stickers that they would plaster, the rental stickers that defaced.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of ruined copies of this game out there that were from Hollywood Video. That's where most of them came from. But the smaller number were included with the kiosks as the default game with the first Dreamcast kiosk. And so this is actually out of a kiosk without that ugly sticker on the disc. And I think it was a kiosk that was never even assembled. So it's like literally brand new, but they were never sealed as far as I know.
Is there a barcode on the back?
There is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting that they would do that with a kiosk version and not have not for resale or something.
It's super weird. I mean, maybe because they were primarily intended as that rental at Hollywood Video, but even still, it was never sold. So it is weird that it has a barcode at all. So sticking with Dreamcast a little bit more, this one's much less documented, but that's kind of a good lead in, right? So that was a rental version primarily of Sonic Adventure, but there is also a very little known rental version of Power Stone, which flat out says rental copy.
That's cool. That's really cool.
This one's like barely documented. It's super weird. So that insert, it's actually not a manual. It's just a single sheet of paper, right? Because it was never intended to be rented with a manual. In the back, at first glance, looks like a retail version. However, it's not. It's actually, there are slight differences, like in the placement of the iconography, and the legal text is a little bit different. And I'm not sure if, anyone's done like a kind of comparison of a dump, but I'm pretty sure it's the same content as the retail, but I'm not 100%. It plays and has all the same features like retail. But this one, I'm not entirely sure where it came from. I think it might have been Blockbuster only in Canada.
Knowing the story of Sculptor's Cut for the N64, I don't even know about this one. I'm assuming that it would be so hard to find. Don't even want to know how expensive it is.
Yeah, this one, I mean, the thing is that if you find it, it's not expensive for the most part because nobody knows what it is. It's not even one of those known documented weird ones. Yeah. But I at one point had multiple copies, and I just found these on eBay because no one's selling them as what they are because nobody knows what they are. Yeah. And my extra copy, I actually traded to somebody at Limited Run, and it ended up in Josh's collection, and Josh once posted about it. So that's where one of my other ones of this went.
Funny you say that. I've sold 2 games on eBay to Josh now.
Oh, really?
Both of them were PAL exclusives too. So
Now I'm curious.
One of them was 10,000 Bullets on the PS2, PAL exclusive. I forget what the other game was.
Nice.
I wrote him like a handwritten letter saying I'm the limited run supporter from day one.
Is this Josh Narleski?
Oh, Fairhurst.
I don't know that guy.
He's the founder.
One of the 2 founders of Limited Run Games.
Oh, okay. I don't know. You guys talk about these people by first names like I'm supposed to know who the fuck they are.
Josh and Doug. If you're a Limited Run person, you know Josh and Doug by first name.
Yeah, they were like employee 1 and 2 when there were only 2 employees.
And they put themselves out there like we're the face of the company, Josh and Doug, and everyone knew them like that.
I still remember when Breach and Clear, so Limited Run #1 came out. I still remember them posting photos of Doug just hand packing them all, which I thought was pretty funny.
Was Breach and Clear their game, or was it Saturday Morning RPG that was their game?
Breach and Clear they developed, and I think it was published by Gun, but then they got the physical publishing rights because who wanted to publish that, right, physically? But Saturday Morning RPG was developed and published by them first on the Ouya, and then they ported it to like PS4 and Switch later. So that was theirs, but they developed both of them.
Nice. I've got them both for PS4. I don't have the Vita Breach and Clear because I never really was a Vita collector.
Yeah, I remember buying it, and you know they didn't sell out very quick. Nobody knew who they were yet.
Interesting. Now it's a full $500 game.
Are those are Josh or Doug supposedly the ones that are drip feeding them out, or is it supposed to be a different employee?
If you look on YouTube, there's hours and hours of controversy about the 2 of them, but like my interactions with them both have been pretty positive compared to other people in the company. So I'm like, I like them both. You know.
Yeah, I've met them both.
The company, they're both down. They're both collectors. Like they're collectors like you and me. At the end of the day,
I'm not trying to shit on them, but you I believe you're the one who told me this story that somebody somewhere made off with the case, or I guess this is the theory of Breach and Clear. I'm talking about the right game, right? Breach.
Yep.
And
they were being sold on eBay, and they were coming from, is it North or South Carolina?
North Carolina.
And it was from the same city that they're in, the same postcode. Yep. I don't know whether it was them or not. No, like I couldn't tell you their name. I can just say it was the same postcode.
So as I remember, and I think I know who you're talking about, I seem to remember there was like some employee who took copies of the game like legitimately in lieu of getting paid. Like Josh gave him copies of the game, and then he ended up reselling them. Like that's what I think I heard had happened. That he didn't steal it, but he was just given a large number. And I don't know if that's true. I can't remember where I heard that story.
Then that's
maybe he was a contractor and the agreement was, we'll give you, $500. Oh, well, you can just give me that case of games and we'll call it square or something.
I think
if you logistically think of it and they're a brand new company just getting started, and it was probably all their friends, that probably happened.
Yeah, I mean, like Josh has talked openly about how they were broke and they couldn't make payroll, and this was like a last resort to keep the company going and pay his employees for at least, like whatever it is that he owed them or whatever it was. So I could believe that story is true.
I do know before they even sold Breach and Clear through the website, they were offering different game shops, like whole boxes of them. One of my friends bought an entire box before they were even sold. So that's definitely occurred.
Yep.
That sounds like fair game to me. It doesn't sound like anything nefarious going on there.
No.
Yeah. And so I saw the guy, like, I mean, kudos to him if that story is true, that he probably made out like a bandit, or at least he got more than he would have been owed, in back pay.
The story that I've said on the podcast is from a YouTube video where they're trying to, talk bad about limited run games. So it's making them out to be the bad guys. There's always 2 sides to every story.
Yeah.
What else we got in the stack, Jason?
So I got 2 more Dreamcast here. So this is one I don't know the story of, but there was a game, Super Runabout San Francisco Edition, which got a retail release in Europe as well as in the US. And, several years later, there were these weird variants of it, that kind of a handful of them that popped up on eBay from one seller who also didn't know the origins of it. So I'm not sure where he got it from. But so here it is. It's labeled as the San Francisco Runabout Driver's Kit. or Super
Ooh,
Runabout driver's
that's
kit.
cool. That's really, really cool.
And this is sealed too. Like it, again, no branding. It doesn't say Dreamcast anywhere on here, but I have seen an open copy of it, and it's a Dreamcast disc in there. So I don't know what the story is. I think it might have been from a press kit. Maybe they had label variants that were made specifically for the press. I'm not sure, but it's cool and weird. Actually, there it is. Yeah, there is a Sega Dreamcast logo.
One of our first guests, Ben, who was on the show, collected a full Dreamcast set. I want to message him about all these questions. Have you seen this before? Do you know about this? Have you seen this one?
They're weird ones. Like, I mean, I wouldn't consider this a must-have for a full set. I have no idea what it is, but it's still, it's got artwork. Yeah, it's weird, but I love it. I love the weird stuff.
I just wanted to mention on that weird thing, you remind me of a collector that we've had on the show, Nicolai Rossi. You two in the groups always post like the same game, like at the same time, and everyone's like, I've never seen this before.
Yeah, Nicolo and I have very similar taste in weird games, and oftentimes knowingly horrible games. I've got some in my stack here that I know he's posted before. We're into weird stuff, and we share a kinship in that way.
No, and I think there's people out there just waiting for the two of you to post games and like, all right, that's what Jason and Nicola are getting. I want that because I like what they're into.
I want to be on hopefully I can come back to the podcast and be on with Nicolo and just have a dueling weird game kind of.
Yeah, no, I'd love that. Nicola wants to come back on the show too, so we'll have to schedule that in, Jason and Nicola, for the future.
That'd be awesome. He's
weirdo, the weirdo game edition.
We are gaming weirdos, so that's appropriate. So the last Dreamcast game I've got here, again, it's a weird one because I'm into that. And again, it's Sonic Adventure. There's a story here. So looks like just a disc-only Japanese copy of Sonic Adventure, but that is not what this actually is. So if you look really closely, I think it says sample on the inner ring in kanji. And what this is, you might think, oh, okay, it's like a kiosk copy or whatever of Sonic Adventure for the Japanese release. It's not that either. So what this is, weirdly, these were pressed in Germany, in Europe, shortly before E3 1999. The game had been released in Japan, I think in December 98 at that point. And, you know, the US release for the Dreamcast is like famously 99.99, right? So for E3 1999, I don't know if that was May or June 1999, in Europe, they pressed this region-free disc with Japanese artwork, pressed in weirdly Germany, but for an American trade show. And this is actually the E3 demo disc of Sonic Adventure.
Ooh,
So
is there
how
only
many?
one of them?
Is that a one-off?
No, I mean, this is an actual pressing, and I don't know how many there were, but there were at least enough made for all the Dreamcast kiosks that were running it at E3.
And then they probably made backups in case something went wrong and different things like that.
Yep.
There wouldn't
So
be
I
many
actually,
of them. That's so cool.
I got this off Assembler when Assembler forums still existed. And like when you put this in, so I believe it's region free. It at least plays on my US Dreamcast, like a retail unit. And when you load it up, the title screen says like Sonic Adventure E3 1999 demo, and it's got different voices for Knuckles on there. Like it's all pre-release kind of stuff. So yeah, that's my weird last Dreamcast thing that I selected to show you guys.
Nice. That was really cool. Thanks, Jason.
Yeah,
I don't know much about. Is Dreamcast region locked?
It is, yeah. So there's the Japan region, the US region, and the PAL region, which is I think all PAL territories.
And then there's probably a region 3 as well, if that's region 3.
I'm pretty sure this disc is region free. I might just be thinking it's region free because I know it was pressed in Europe to run on the American console. There's reasons I seem to remember that it was region free. Maybe somebody had ripped it at some point and it was in the metadata. I'm pretty sure it's region free, but it's just so odd that it's it's pressed in Europe with Japanese artwork for an American console. It's super bizarre.
For a system that's region locked.
Yeah.
I would have been like, hey guys, can we take the lock off for this?
It's super weird. And they actually, it's a set of well, since we're talking about this, right? There were actually two others. They did it for Sega Rally, and they did it for Power Stone. But they're the full games that were eventually released at retail. As far as I know, it's all identical code. But same situation where it's Japanese artwork. It says sample pressed in Germany for E3 99.
Now Andy's saying it's probably a self-booting CDI disc, and it just bypasses the region.
Nah, it's an actual disc. I got it from somebody, an assembler who worked at Sega. It's like a known thing. If you go into what is it? One of those websites, hidden something. Hidden
archives, or
if you Google it, there are sites that documented this one, which you can look up and read more about it. It's hidden something. I can't recall the name. Let me look it up, actually.
It's like that when you know something and it's on the tip of your tongue and you just want to get it out.
Hiddenpalace.org.
Oh, yeah. It's been a while since I've been on that website.
Yeah.
I remember like back in 2015, 16, collecting, always using like, what's the PlayStation PlayStation forums old websites, and always on those websites. And now I don't even use them.
Yeah.
I remember the old Nintendo Collect website. Oh, what was that?
I remember that too.
And they shut that down. That was like so much history was on there. Everything was documented, and
yeah, like Nintendo Age, when that got taken over by whoever it is, like a collectible grading, I think, kind of company. I can't believe they really just threw out all that history. Like that site was around, I think, for 15 years or so, and all that information's gone now. It's really sad.
And then like last year, the YouTuber who had every single Nintendo song ad-free on his YouTube channel, and Nintendo went, "No, you don't. Dun, dun. Delete. By the way, you can't get this through us, guys.
Yep.
You can buy like 1/100th of it on the e-store for like $99.99.
Sad,
Maybe one day we'll release the good stuff."
So that's all the Dreamcast stuff I got to show. Got some other stuff here. So I've got some Vita. I've got some PS4. Where would you guys like to go next?
I want to say PS4 for last, because that's what I'm currently into. So, what do you got for the Vita?
Okay, so Vita stuff, no particular order. Okay, so this is interesting. So this game Velocity, I think it came out in PAL and US or North American versions, but there was like a controversy at the time. So here it is. The game is totally common, but they printed on the cover something that was intended only for the PS4 version of the cover that says it includes a manual and it includes a CD soundtrack. And of course, a Vita box can't even hold a CD. So that's obviously, it was a mistake, right? But there were people who freaked out about it. They told the publisher, it says it comes with a CD. What the hell, right? And there's no manual inside either.
Where's my CD in this little case?
Yeah, it's like, where did you think it was going to go? It's like, anyway. So a lot of people, they caused a stink right on social media, and the publisher actually, if you complained, they sent you the CD and they printed a manual that fit inside a Vita box.
Oh,
so the only way, the CD is fairly common. The CD is the same CD that came with the PS4 version, but the only way to get a manual for this game is to have complained to the publisher and asked for it, and they sent it to you. So it's the only way to have a manual. That's actually the only rare thing I'm holding is the manual.
Okay.
Just on that, Jason, we have a collector who might be coming on in the future. Luke Likes Games, a friend of mine who's got a full Australian Vita set. And one of his games, I forget the title of it, it's an NIS America game, but he got it off another collector who actually emailed the company when the game was being made. It has a reversible cover. He emailed them and said, "Hey, I've pre-ordered 2 copies. Is there any chance you guys can seal one of the copies with the reversible cover?" And they're like, "Yeah, we can do that for you."
That's
so
incredible.
My friend Luke has 2 sealed copies. One of them has the reversible copy, possibly one of one.
That's amazing.
That's rad.
So just keep that in mind, guys. If a company has a reversible cover and like it's still being made, send them an email. They might make it in the company and turn it around. Now, just on that, I've got some signed games and I've sent emails to companies and say, hey, can you sign this? What was the game done by one of the limited run employees? Revenge of the Bird King. My copy's signed by the guy that did it because I emailed him and just say, hey man, can you sign my copy?
So Metal Jesus signed it?
No, not Metal Jesus.
Metal Jesus did post about it though. But yeah, Joe Modeski or however you pronounce it. Yeah, he's actually the one I sent that copy of Power Stone, the rental copy to, and he then gifted it to Josh.
Oh, that's cool. It's a small world, the collecting scene. Like, really is.
It's a smaller world than you would think, right?
Especially when it comes to people who are scammers and stuff. Like, they get found out in the community pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah. Word spreads quick.
Regardless if they change names or, like, people's addresses stay the same. Or, I mean, you know, things are always, like, people always get found out.
Totally. People find out, man. So, continuing with the Vita theme, and actually continuing with the limited run theme. So there's a handful, speaking of reversible covers, actually, you know how there's normally, like, especially with limited run, but not in all cases, there's a default, you know, cover that's meant to face outward. And then there's the inward facing cover that's meant to be, you know, you see it when you open it, right? So for the two SteamWorld games on Vita from limited run, SteamWorld Dig and SteamWorld Heist, there were, according to Josh, there were like two cases where they inadvertently packaged the inward cover facing outward. So it was an error. But yeah, so here they are. So these two, these are actually the inward facing covers. These were never meant to be facing outward, like in sealed. But if you were to open it up, these are what was inside there all along. These are only really, you know, unique because they were factory sealed with the wrong cover facing out.
Yeah, you could never sell that story if that thing's unsealed. That story goes out the window.
Exactly, and it's like Josh actually posted about it. I think that a couple of customers got it, and somehow people found out, and Josh told that story that, oh yeah, there were two cases or whatever it was. But at the time, their customer service was actually very good. That's changed in my experience. But if you contacted their customer service and said, hey, can I get one of those? They actually would set up a custom order for you. And that's how I got these. I just asked them for it.
Nice.
So I got them for retail, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome. You're reminding me of the days where I was collecting for the Vita and I bought the Oddworld games. And there was like four cover variants for the Vita or something ridiculous. I had all of them, but have since sold them all.
I've got all four still. Yeah, one of those was a PSX exclusive or PlayStation Experience, whatever the PSX stood for. And I was there and bought it. That weird blue cover that has a fake signature on it from the creators. Yep. So another one. This is not a reversible cover. And it's a little known story, but people who really collect Vita know it, like hardcore collect it. So Metal Slug 3, they actually printed this cover, which is here, and they began shipping it with this cover. Ooh. But it turns out it's an ESRB violation. So even though this is artwork from the 90s, right? They, you know, created the ESRB after this artwork was originally created for the Neo Geo game. Sorry for the reflection. There it is. And so you see how one character is pointing a gun at the viewer of the box? That's actually an ESRB violation. So they printed this cover and they began shipping it before they realized their mistake. However they found out, I don't know. And then they reprinted it with a brand new cover. So this is not a reversible cover. There is no other cover on the inward side, but inward facing side. But they actually, I guess they opened them all up and tore out the covers and replaced it with a new cover. So this is the first cover that they stopped shipping. That's my story.
So it's against ESRB rules to print someone pointing the gun at the viewer on the cover? Apparently.
That's what I've heard was the reason for it.
That sounds rather un-American if you think about it.
Yeah.
Jeez,
I'm
that's hilarious. I didn't know that. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like I was actually looking it up out of curiosity tonight. People are selling this without realizing that that's a variant cover and an early unintended, cover, I guess. So you can still get it for cheap if you look for it. A lot of people have no idea that there's anything special about this, but
not after tonight's episode.
Yeah, I've ruined that for whoever was looking for a cheap copy. So that's my bad.
Ding, 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 ding. I need the eBay sold after everyone shows a rare game on the show.
It's gonna happen.
People are now saying what they're buying after watching the show. Will's been doing it as well. We'll post it. This is what I bought after last show.
Yeah, I'm creating a shopping list for people. That's what I'm here for. So,
Jason, I just wanted to break you up for a minute. We got a few different segments. So I do a quiz show. I wanted to quickly hit you guys with a pop quiz. So
sure.
it's that time, guys.
Oh, okay, here we go. It's the pigsy quiz.
Wow, apparently it is.
It still makes me laugh.
So we've been doing a quiz for a couple of weeks. Will doesn't like it because apparently the questions are too hard. But AJ got a perfect score last week, so AJ is our current champion. Now these questions are completely random. You'll have 3 questions each. Who would like to go first? We have a volunteer.
Yeah, let's let our guest go first. It's
Jason?
good. It's good manners.
They're all PlayStation related. Some of them are hard. Some of them are easy. I don't know how you guys are going to go. I'll ask you the question, Jason. If you can't get it right, I'll hand it over to Will. If Will gets it, he'll get half a point. If you get it right, you'll get a full point. Let's see if it's a tie. I haven't got a tie break question this time, but let's see.
Odds are I'm not going to get any of them again. So fucking let's get this shit over with.
I have chat. You guys want to guess? Feel free to guess as well. No cheating. Yeah, let's do it. First question, Jason. What Tekken character is on the front cover of Tekken 3?
Man. I want to say Heihachi. Probably wrong, but that's my guess.
That is incorrect. I'm going to hand this one over to Will.
Jin Kazuya.
That's correct. Will gets half a point.
Yeah, man, I love me some Tekken. Ooh, fuck. I finally boarded. Yeah, all right, let's go. We could quit the
Will
game
just
now.
answered his first question.
Game over. We're done.
Will messaged me earlier. He's like, "Are you doing a quiz tonight?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Fucking hell, I can get none wrong and get none right again."
I'm done. I'm retiring. I'm quitting while I'm at the top of my game.
All right, Will, your first question.
All right, man, what we got?
What's the Bloodborne Collector's Edition called?
Jesus. I don't know. Bloodborne, Blood and Guts. I have no idea.
I'll hand this one over to Jason.
I'm embarrassed to say I don't know. Like I can see the box in my head, and I'm trying to make out the words, and I can't remember. I'll be honest.
So it is the Bloodborne Nightmare Edition.
That was
Who knew?
Pigsy.
I love how you can see the box though, because I know that feeling.
It's like I was depixelating the words under the Bloodborne title. I never got there.
All right, new question, Sal. I hope you guys like this one. Jason, true or false? Burnout 3 had an online mode.
Wow. Man. I really want to say yes, but I bet the answer is no. So I'm just going to say yes and probably be wrong.
So true?
I'm going to say it is true that it had an online mode.
That is correct. Ding, ding, ding. So there were a few, there were like 20 or so PS2 games that had online modes, and it was actually one of the most popular ones.
It felt right.
I was hoping you'd get it wrong so I get at least half a point, because that'd be a gimme if you got it wrong.
You got
all right, Will.
Right,
so what's the score? We're at Jason's got 1 point. Will's got half a point.
Correct.
Will, to take the lead, name 2 games on PS3 that come bundled with a movie.
I know.
There's lots of them.
Lego Batman and Lego Harry Potter.
Ding, 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 ding.
All right. Woo.
I would have also accepted Top Gun.
I was going to say Top Gun.
I was thinking Hard Boiled.
There's heaps more. I just can't think of off the top of my head.
Hard Boiled
Days of Thunder.
The John Woo film. That's with what game though? I can't remember it.
Oh yeah.
Stranglehold.
Correct.
Stranglehold. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I wanted to say Hard Boiled, but I'm glad I didn't. But yeah, there we go. The also Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that's another one.
What's
Happy Feet.
Orphan came with
all the Silver
Fear
Shield
3.
packs.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, so Will has 1.5 points. Jason's got 2 points. Moving on to the final round. Anyone can still win.
Anyone's
Jason, name all the systems that Odin's Spear was released for. PlayStation systems only.
Oh, man.
This is my question.
Oh, man.
No, this is Jason's question.
Yeah, this is like my game zone.
You know, I'm going to blame it on the lack of sleep, but I'm going to guess, man, PS3, Vita. Oh, man. PS4? I bet I got something wrong there.
Jason, that is incorrect. It actually got released. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
It's on PS2, PS3, PS4, and Vita.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh my
goes
God.
up to 2 points. So it was first released on the PS2 and then years later got remade and done on the PS3, Vita, and 4 at the same time.
So you know what's painful there is, aside from you're absolutely right, and I missed that, is that I interviewed at Atlas when it came out on PS2 for QA localization job on that game, which I didn't get, and I totally forgot. I actually did play a pre-release version of it with bad English translation, and that was the job I interviewed for, and I totally forgot. So I have no excuse.
I tailored that question perfect for you then.
You did. I guess I blocked it out.
Well, you've already won. Have you won completely? You're on 2. Yeah, Jason can't come back. But for a clean sweep for the first time ever, no, you got one wrong. But anyway, well, for some more pride, what year was Persona 5 released?
Oh, dude, I'm not good with years. Persona 5, and that's 2016.
That is incorrect. I'll hand this one over to Jason.
I'm not confident here, but I'm going to say 2015.
That's also incorrect.
You know what? I just realized I wrong.
Oh, I was off by a year. All right.
Thanks everyone for playing Quiz Time and Pigsy. Congratulations, Will, on winning his first ever Quiz Time.
Oh man, I thank you. I got to thank Jason for thank you, Jason, for getting them wrong. I think
you're so welcome.
I'll send you that $10.
I mean, you know, just try to conceal it well.
Oh shit.
So we'll do some more pickups, Jason, of yours, and then we'll go to another one of our segments.
Our famous segments. What else you got in the stack? So we did PS3, we did Vita, we did Dreamcast. What else you got for us?
So I got a couple more Vita, which I'll go quick on, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is interesting. This was a pre-order bonus only in Germany. I don't know at which retailer. It might have been Game. I'm not sure. But when you pre-ordered Resistance, I can't remember the name of the subtitle, the Vita Resistance game.
Burning Skies or something?
That does sound right. I think it is Burning Skies. At this one German retailer, you could get a physical boxed copy of Resistance Retribution, the PSP game, but inside it's a download code in the sealed box.
Oh, that's cool.
So that is a weird one.
There's so much cool little things like that for the Vita.
There really are. Like they did this for MotorStorm too, but this is the harder to get one. MotorStorm had several different like translations.
I almost bought that because it includes the PS3 download version as well.
I think it does, yeah. Yep.
And that was like on my list of weird PS3 things.
It is super weird. And so I'll try to keep it moving. This is the rarest, as far as I'm aware, Southeast Asian English cover game, but AW Phoenix Festa.
Ooh, I've never seen that.
The Vita. It's got only one pressing, as far as I know. This is a sealed copy, only released in Malaysia and Singapore. And I've seen used copies of this go for like $700 on eBay now.
Damn.
So not really sure what a sealed copy goes for, but I got lucky again. Like I got this, I pre-ordered it from a retailer in Singapore, so I got it at retail price, like 40 something bucks. Yeah, kept it sealed.
Nice. Kudos to you for pre-ordering it. Hey guys, just on the quiz, one of you guys answered Persona 5 was released in 2016. I said that was incorrect. It was actually correct. It was first released in Japan in 2016. Was that you, Will?
So do I get more points then?
Yes, yeah, so Will, you get an extra point, and I'll just apologize for that. Chaos corrected me. It was first released in Japan in 2016, and then later in the West in 2017.
If you don't want to give me the point, I can understand because I don't fuck with Japan.
Will finished on 3 points out of a possible 3. However, one of them was from stealing 2 questions.
Did I steal 2 questions? Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I extra lost. So congratulations to Will.
Dude, I got swept last week, so don't feel bad.
I think AJ finished on like 4 points out of a possible 3.
So last 2 I have to show you guys for Vita, and they kind of go together. They're kind of a set. But kind of infamous. You guys have probably heard about the Nicalis, however you pronounce it, the unreleased promo games that have been floating around on eBay.
Oh, you're not going to show us the Binding of Isaac, are you?
I'm going to show you that. So this is one of the 3 unreleased Nicalis Vita games. There's this one. So VVV. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's how I say it. Because how the hell do you pronounce that?
You pronounce it. No, you pronounce it.
Exactly.
So watch the Sesame Street.
Only known copies have the promo hole, which I typically hate. But when it's the only way that you can possibly obtain it, I can tolerate that.
Jason, I recall the retailer made a tweet saying that they're going to release these games. Like they've got them and they're going to release them, but they just haven't yet.
They did say that like 4 years ago, and it hasn't happened yet. So who the hell knows? Maybe they're waiting until, I don't know, the 20th anniversary of the Vita to sell it one day. I'm not sure.
Maybe they're like, yeah, we'll release them one at a time on eBay.
Yeah, exactly.
So whatever you guys want to pay.
So who the hell knows? And the painful thing about this is I had 3 copies of it. I sold 2 of them after they tweeted that. And I'm like, well, I better sell it because this is about to be worthless with a hole in it. But no, that was a mistake. So
I would have done the same thing.
Do you have an aversion to the promo copy hole?
I mean, when it's a retail cover, and you can buy this in a store, but you have a copy with a hole in it, it's kind of like it's like a defect in a way. It's an interesting defect. I'll look at it that way, right?
I wanted to add to that. So I posted a promo in a group this week. The PS3 promos. So America didn't get them. And I was chatting to collectors like what the American equivalent is. And someone mentioned that the hole punch would be the American equivalent of like the PAL promos.
It is, but the disc inside is a retail disc, and the insert is typically a retail insert. So it is exactly what you just said. It is interesting because it's a promo copy, but the only thing that distinguishes it as a promo copy is a hole in a retail version, which is it's still sealed, so you can still tell it's a promo, but it's kind of like you can be on either side of the fence. It's cool because it's a promo, or it's not cool because you can get a retail one that doesn't have a hole in it. So I guess it depends on how you look at it.
The PAL promos are completely unique, so they look really cool in the collection together.
I love those white labels.
I don't mind a promo copy if it's sealed, but if it's unsealed, it's like then I would consider it. It's just a fucking hole in the cover. But no, sealed good, hole in the cover bad.
I agree. Sealed better.
Sorry, Jason. Sealed there's certain games that more promo copies exist than like regular games, like the ones you're talking about. I know Class of Heroes 2G, there's more hole punch copies floating around than barcode copies. So
exactly,
like how many copies are out there when really?
It's the same thing with music too, where it's like, especially in the 80s when nobody had a CD player, there were all these promotional copies with like drill holes or a cut on the spine, and nobody bought a CD of that in 1980, whatever. And the retail versions are a lot cheaper and same kind of deal. And so I've got one more to show, and that was 1001 Spikes.
That's the other one.
Same thing. Got the whole, but yeah, I got both of these off eBay for $60, and I'm not complaining. So
You haven't tried to get the Binding of Isaac?
that's the only one I'm missing, and I really want it. But the only ones that I've seen turn up have been like $4,000 to $6,000, and I don't have $4,000 to $6,000 to spend on that. But these for 60 were definitely acceptable. So I'd love to have the Binding of Isaac. I'd love to, but
I'm sure you've got it in your Switch and PS4 collection, though, right?
I do, but it's not the same. It's like I gotta have
okay.
that. I feel like I was thrilled to have the two, I thought, unreleased Vita Nicholas games, and to know there's a third is kind of painful. So hopefully someday.
Mark saying, I've got a SingStar Afrikaans promo. Has that got the cover, Mark, or is it just a CD? Because that's really cool if it's got the cover.
They never answer right away. There's a delay of some sort. All right, so before so what's left? Is it just PS4 that's left?
I've got some 3DS, some DS, and PS4.
I'm loving the DS and 3DS at the moment.
I'm gonna take this opportunity to sandwich in our homework assignment. As you know, here on the PlayStation Collectors Podcast, we like to assign our customers, our guests' homework, and we do the homework as well. Today's homework was show us your top two favorite, most beautiful covers, and also, in your opinion, your top two ugliest covers. And we're gonna make this extra fun.
Oh my god!
We're gonna include the chat. Figsy didn't do the homework, of course. So Jason and I are gonna go first, and we're gonna let the chat decide who has the ugliest and who has the prettiest. So
I picked one pretty one, but it was like 5 minutes before the show.
Fucking worst host on Facebook. Or Facebook, I mean.
Today on Facebook live.
Anyway, Jason, do you want to go first? Or you want
Sure.
me to go
So
first?
are we doing best or worst first?
Let's do the best, and then because I think the worst is more entertaining. But yeah, let's see your best one. Your best.
So my
two.
Everyone in
spoiler
chat will wait till we show all three and then vote for your favorite.
So yeah, my spoiler alert is they're bad, but I like them. So then I have bad that are just bad. So these are the bad ones I like. Okay. So first up, I got here, and it's a Switch game, so add some variety here. But it's a Switch game called Fight of Animals.
Oh, that's cool.
This is the worst artwork, but I love it. It's like bad in a good way, and
it's like a box too. That's awesome.
Is that like a furry game?
it is a fighting game.
No,
So
do you know what a furry is?
I do. So it depends on your opinion of what a furry game is, I guess. But yeah, it's interesting. It's a fighting game of these animals. It's the fight of animals. It's right there in the title, I guess. This particular copy, it came out. I think this might be a Hong Kong version, but then they released an English language slipcover for like limited exports, and so this is a copy that has one of those English.
That's
sleeves.
cool that they do that.
It's interesting. It's like just the publisher who decided to do it. Like, I don't think that this cover was submitted to Nintendo. They just kind of went rogue with it, but it's pretty cool.
But if they're selling it, it's official. It's from the people that make it.
It's official. So your turn, Will, or should I go on with another one?
Yeah, I'll go up next. Well, now, one of my favorite covers, also one of my favorite, Witch in the 100 Night. I brought both of them because they're a little different. She's more in the foreground on the PS3 version, and you get a larger body shot in the PS4 version. But I like the PS4 version cover to be Actually, I like the PS3 one better now that I'm looking at it. But this is one of my favorite covers right here. The Witch in the 100 Night. Yeah, NIS doesn't fuck around, and I'm all into my anime shit. So that's my weeb showing. So anyway, there you go.
Nice.
That's one of my favorite covers. The Witch in the 100 Night.
I love the cover for the second one as well.
For
Yeah,
sure.
it's just one's close in, one closes. I kind of like the PS3 one. I don't know. It's just me. But anyway, that's one of my favorite covers.
I picked one that's from Japan. I love this cover. So I can't pronounce it in Japanese, but the English translation is My Summer Holiday 3. It features a little boy holding like an insect catcher, and he's standing behind Mount Fuji. It's got like grass and cows on the background. I literally bought this because the cover looks good. So yeah, this is my favorite cover. I really like it. Waldo just raided the channel. So what's up, Waldo? Thanks for the raid.
All right, so Pigsy, while Jason's showing off his second one, you can go run and look real quick.
Go find something else.
All right, Jason, what's your second favorite art cover?
So my next one, this is also a Japanese release, and it's again one of those bad ones that I happen to like a lot. This is Metal Dogs for PS4.
That's cool.
It's what it sounds like. I love it, and the back cover artwork is also pretty awesome. Or dogs with artillery.
Oh, so it's like Metal Slug. I was thinking it's like metal, like heavy metal, but yeah, that makes more sense.
I think it's like a play. It's kind of both.
It's like Tokyo Jungle if the dogs won.
Exactly. Which I kind of wish in that reality that they would.
Yeah, it's pretty. I've never seen that game before. Is that who published that?
Kadokawa.
Oh yeah. It's a Japanese cover.
I have actually bought some of their games now that you mention it.
Yeah, I recognize the name, but I couldn't tell you what they do. For number 2 for me, and if you watch the show, this is a surprise. It's gonna be Odin Sphere, Leif Sphere.
I am surprised, Will. I thought you were going to show Amari.
No, man, Amari was last year's meme. But this is one of my favorite art covers. I didn't bring both versions because the other one I got's wrapped up in plastic and sealed. So anyway, there we go. Odin Sphere, Leif Sphere. To me, Vanillaware can do no wrong, and of course, I love Atlas games. Yeah. From way back in the one. But anyway, there's my choice.
So
amazing game. So guys, it's open up to chat. Vote for your favorite. Let's just hold them all up again so we can see all the titles. So put in either Witch, Odin Spear, My Summer Holiday, Metal Dogs, or Fighting Pets.
Fight of animals.
Fight of animals.
I was about to say dogs or dogs.
There's a theme.
What's up, Scars? Nice to see you, man. So we'll give it a couple of minutes, and while we're doing that, you guys want to show the worst covers?
All right. I think I got a winner here, but go ahead, Jason. You go first.
So first, I've got. I guess we've gone into the PS4 category because I've got some bad PS4 covers here. So this is the German exclusive retail release of Bard's Gold.
God damn it, that's gonna be hard to beat. That shit is fucking ugly.
Gonna haunt your dreams. Look at that. I mean, what the hell is going on here? And then you get another one on the back. I think it's just
my god,
so bad.
German nightmare fueled children. Get the fuck out of here. Oh yeah, it's gonna be hard to beat. But
we just did best covers, Jason. This is the worst covers.
They kind of blend in my case.
I don't grab everything like a lot of collectors do. I'm very picky about what I get, so it's very hard for me to find a shitty cover in my collection. But this one, I bought this game because it was cheap, and it is Santa's Christmas Adventure. This is what happens when you buy a game just because it's inexpensive. Don't play this game. Don't buy this game. This fucking stupid. Anyway, there's my ugly. Show us your uglies, Pigsy.
I'm just showing it right here.
Oh yeah.
You
didn't pick one
out, so I do apologize. I like all games. I couldn't think of an ugly one.
All right, Jason. Let's see your second ugly choice.
So this originally started out in my PS4 pile, but I realized afterwards this is a horrible freaking cover. And if you're familiar with Niccolo, I think you've seen this cover, but I'd be remiss if I don't mention it. Arab Drift Cars 1.
God damn, get that shit out of here, man.
If I owned that, I would have picked that one. So bad.
It's time for you to start playing the Arab style.
Oh my god. This is
Octavia ate my bad game. It's my dog's name. I had it sitting out on the table and she ate it. Oh my god.
All right, so I'm going taking this one back to the PS2. So this is what I think. This is probably the ugliest cover in all of my collection, and that is Frogger. Frogger, the Great Quest. I don't know. He looks German. He looks like he'd hang out with your little Bard's Gold boy.
I can see it.
I
can see that.
They watch soccer games on the weekend and shit. But I mean, look at this horror show. Look at this girl. What the hell is that? That's like, what's that crappy PAL company? Phoenix, yes.
I was just about to say, maybe I should just pull a Phoenix game out. Any of those would qualify for this.
This is Phoenix horror show type. Look at this fucking crap.
Let me grab one.
This one upsets me. I'm getting upset just holding this. And why is this in my collection? I actually have a full Frogger set.
I love Frogger. I mean, and they have some bad games in their later part of the catalog.
Konami ran them into the ground, unfortunately. But yeah,
pretty bad.
Little Red Riding Hood.
No, it wasn't, but it's pretty bad. It fits in a Maniac Mole. Any Phoenix game will fit in this list. Look at the one in the science outfit.
I think that's a wise old turtle.
I love/hate their covers.
Just on that, we had a tie. Jason, your 2 games got 3 votes each.
Nice. They are terrible, and on the to go with the horrible cover, this game is also one of the worst games ever from what I've experienced. That's so interesting in its badness.
Oh, honorable mention. I picked this up today. PDC. I just wanted to bring it on the show because I'm stoked. I got this from a little old lady in a retirement community.
Wow.
PDC World Championship darts. This piece of shit is rather rare. Well, the American one is anyway. And yeah, I was really stoked to get it. I'm going to be, if it doesn't sell on Facebook tonight, I'm going to be taking this thing down to the toy shop.
We got over here.
Yeah. And I'm going to be trading this in. But yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, $90 game. Can you believe that shit?
I've never seen that US cover before.
I'm pretty sure it's a $2 game over here. That's actually crazy.
It's weird. I went and I looked the thing up on eBay. Last 3 solds, 100, 180, and then before that it was like $5, $6, $7, $8. But it doesn't show up too often. But yeah, rare PS2 game. Anyway,
what's up, Nami? How you going, man? Jason, you were showing us your pickups. Do you want to get to the DS and the 3DS pickups?
Sure. So
I really want to see these PS4 ones, but we'll save it for the end because I know it's some crazy games.
There's interesting stuff. So, okay, I mentioned I'm kind of a collector of kiosk, not for resale games for the DS and the 3DS, and all the ones I picked are actually in that category. So for the DS, I've only got one that I picked out actually, and it's really hard to narrow it down. But this is the Zelda Twilight Princess preview trailer cartridge for the DS. This was given at the Nintendo E3 2005 press conference.
Ooh.
And this was when they announced the GameCube version of Zelda Twilight Princess before they announced the Wii, and it became a Wii launch title, right? But it was also still released on the GameCube. And so when they announced it, I'm going to take it out of the totally reflective cover.
The way you showed it to me, Will is silent because we both probably have never seen it before and have no idea what it even is.
Sure. So when they announced it at the press conference, and you can find the press conference on YouTube, at the very end of the press conference, they showed the trailer for the GameCube version before they announced the Wii version. And at the very end, it was the director of the game, I think Ayanuma, if I'm remembering his name right. He pulls out from his pocket a DS cartridge that says Zelda Twilight Princess on it. And he says everybody in attendance is going to get this to take home. But it turns out it's the trailer. It's not the game. It's a trailer on a cartridge.
That's still so cool.
Yeah. So the GameCube game trailer on a Nintendo DS cartridge, which then became a Wii launch title. It's a very strange thing. And I was lucky in that I was in attendance at that press conference. It was the first gaming event I've ever gone to, and I was able to get myself on the list, and I was totally lucky. And I was there, and I went home with this. So
that's
nice.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, it's like one of my favorite gaming items because it's bizarre.
The DS had so many different things like that, like the Louvre with the Mona Lisa game and things
I've got
like that
too. Yeah,
and then I'm thinking of the McDonald's game that they gave employees. Like you know the story behind that. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's like a training cartridge. Like they sent like a McDonald's branded Nintendo DS, and like you had to enter in like your store number or employee number or something just to get into the training. So there's it's hard to get in. If you can get the ROM, you have to have the number still to even.
If you don't know about this, there's a really good hour-long YouTube documentary on a guy who went to Japan, tracked down an old employee and got into the card, and really, really worth watching. I forget the guy's name, but he's a really good YouTuber.
Yeah, it's an amazing video. I've seen it and I recommend it. So that's my DS. That's the only DS cartridge I is it? Let me see. Actually, that's not true. So I mentioned that I collect the kiosk cartridges, and I have a full set of the Pokemon distribution cartridges that were used in GameStops and Toys R Us. And so
damn. Are these full games on there, or are they just demo?
These are distribution cartridges that were for limited time events at retail stores. So you could go to the store and they would promote, come in on these dates, and you could download exclusive Pokemon. So these were all meant to be returned to Nintendo. So these are the releases chronologically from this side, left to right.
Have you got all 16 of them? Are there any more?
These are all of the ones. These are all of them. I think that there were a handful. Thank you. There were a handful at Pokemon World Championship competitions that were on flash cartridges. That literally there's one or two. I don't have those, but these are all the ones that were used in retail events.
I've seen a handful of them for sale, but together like that, I've never seen that before.
Wait, is that a custom case? Where'd you get that case?
This is a Club Nintendo case, so you could redeem it for Club Nintendo points back in the day, and it's perfect for cartridge only games. So kiosk cartridges have no boxes, right, for the most part. And so I got these, as many as I could, to hold all of the kiosk games for the DS.
Oh, that's rad.
So that's that, and I think the rest are 3DS. Oh, actually, that's not true. I've got a couple more DS. So a lot of these DS kiosk cartridges, they've become fairly low in price because a lot of them kind of showed up in China that were meant to be destroyed that somehow ended up there, and they're just worthless. So a lot of them aren't worth anything at this point, or very little. But there are some that are super rare that never kind of turned up in any kind of finds later on down the road. So I've got another one of those cases. I have several games in here, but not all of these do I necessarily want to talk about. I do want to talk about these two. Transformers Demo Card, that's the title on the cartridge, and Naruto Ninja Council 3. So these two in particular are not quite one of a kind, but I'd say maybe I've heard of 5 or so or less existing of each of these. That Transformers Demo Card, that was a Target US in-store promotion where a Nintendo rep would show up and hold a DS and, as far as I know, distribute out some kind of content or something from this cartridge. I don't know all the details of it, but very few of them are out there. And that Naruto, that was actually in GameStops, but they were pretty much all taken back by Nintendo reps. So not too many of those out there.
You can see why they're not so expensive though, because the average collector isn't going for a full set and then collecting that as well.
Exactly. Like in a lot of these, it's kind of very niche. And some of these, even in this case, are just not worth anything. But because I collect all of the not for resale cartridges, like I have worthless ones beside crazy rare ones.
Mark was saying Nick Robinson's the YouTube channel regarding the McDonald's game. And yeah, if you haven't checked out Nick Robinson's YouTube channel, he's basically like a video game historian. He'll go back and like find the origins of what this story of this like okay, for example, NBA Elite 11, like it's a banned game. He hasn't done that, but he does games that like were lost and lost media and different things like that. Really, really recommend checking out his YouTube channel.
All right, pardon me for a minute, guys. Carry on.
You're right, Will.
Okay. So my other ones are 3DS not for resale cartridges.
Yeah.
I won't show all of them. They're not all special. There's one though. There's really conflicting stories about what the backstory of this one is, but Lego City Undercover, you would think this is a totally common kiosk game, right? But
they're not for resale. That red text that you can make.
Yep, that's right. And also on the back, it's got like, those kind of stickers as well.
Yep.
But so I think these were only used in a handful of Lego stores and reclaimed by Nintendo reps. So these weren't used in like GameStop and Walmart and Target. Apparently they were only used in a handful of Lego stores.
That's interesting.
Yeah, like that's what I've heard. I don't actually know if that's true. I'm not sure where they were used. They were not used widely like the others. And so this is like the most sought after ESRB rated.
They make sense. Like a certain Lego set comes out and you can play a video game with it. So in the Lego shop, they're going to show what you can do on it.
Yeah. So it's weird. I wish I could figure out where the hell it came from, but I got super lucky. Like apparently some of them ended up in Mexico. I don't know, maybe in a handful of stores they were used in Mexico. I think that's where I got mine from. I had a couple at one point, but I'm down to one. And yeah, that's my weirdest US 3DS thing. But there's one more 3DS thing, and that is, so this is the Rhythm Thief European 3DS not for resale demo cartridge.
That's cool.
So I heard this existed. Like when assembler forums was a thing, somebody went on there saying, hey, what do you guys think this is worth? And people basically responded saying, well, it doesn't exist. So show a picture. What are you talking about? Then the guy disappeared, right? So I'm like, well, is this real? And I was looking for it in the event it existed. For a couple of years, there was no sign of it existing. Then one day it just showed up on eBay for like $60. I bought it instantly. I had like good timing. I got super lucky. I bought it. It turned out the guy who posted it is the same guy from the assembler forums from years earlier asking, hey, what's this worth?
So it's probably really the only one that people know about then.
So it's literally only one. And I was like, hey, can you tell me more of where you got it from? The guy worked at the I think it was ECTS trade show in Europe before, I think Leipzig replaced it or they renamed it or whatever it was, the Gamescom. He worked at the kiosk demoing this game and then they let him keep it afterwards. So this didn't actually go to retail. This is from a trade show. And I think it really might be the only one or the only one I've ever heard of. But
What's interesting about that one, Jason, is I believe that's in the top 5 most expensive American 3DS games.
Yep.
And even the PAL version's a couple of $100 too. So to see a promo copy of it, like even if like the average person found that and didn't know what they had and put it on eBay, it would probably be a couple of $100 just going off what eBay would tell them to sell it for.
Yeah, and this guy who knew the origins, because he told me the story, sold it for $60. I'm like, okay,
oh my god!
If you're down for selling it for $60, I'm happy to pay it. But what's even crazier, it's like it's like a real label. Like that Nintendo went through the trouble of making this real label for a thing that was used in a trade show in a kiosk that nobody saw. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, cool.
I feel lucky to have that.
I have that game. I don't have many 3DS games, but I'm very, very happy to have that one in the collection. It's really cool.
It's not.
I love the story behind Rhythm Thief. How it was a game that like people didn't talk about. Like I said, this is, no one talked about it, and then suddenly like people are like, this is a hidden gem, and it absolutely exploded in price.
Yeah,
You know,
it's like
your typical
platform
story.
exclusive. Yeah.
Very nice. So is all that's left is PS4?
So I've got one. I actually did pull one Switch one before we go to PS4.
All right.
So this is like worthless in Europe as far as I understand, but in the US, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle Gold Edition, exclusive to Costco.
I can walk into my local store and buy one of them over here. Yeah.
Yep. The PAL one's not worth anything.
I think we got a steelbook too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. But here, it was essentially the same retail cartridge for the standard one in the box, but it has the code that allows you to get the DLC. But yeah, so this is a sealed one. Now it's like one of the more sought after Switch games. I think it goes for like $300-$400 on eBay now.
Costco exclusive?
Yep.
Did you have to buy like 20 pounds of macaroni to get it?
I don't know. I got it off a guy on eBay before it crazy exploded, but I assume you had to get like 40 rolls of paper towels.
Needed the membership to get it though, which is pretty cool.
That's true. Yeah.
Do you guys got Costco over there in
it's
Australia?
just started. I've never been to one, but I know it's in Melbourne and Sydney, and it's even in New Zealand now, which is pretty cool. I've watched YouTube videos where people go to Costco.
For our European viewers, Costco is a big box store. Is that what we call it, Jason?
I think what are those called? Like
bulk.
Wholesale kind of outlet, not outlet. Yeah. Wholesale.
Instead of going to buy one box of macaroni, you buy 20 at a time, and instead of buying a regular sized jar of mayonnaise, you buy a 5-gallon jar of mayonnaise. So that's what you kind of get stuff you get at Costco. All right. Hey, before we get into the PS4, I got one last segment, and I want to shove this down your throats real quick. Have you watched the show a lot or often, Jason, or before?
I've seen a handful of episodes.
Well, maybe you might be familiar with this segment. It is meme time with Will. So I got a couple memes I would like to just spit out real quick. And then we'll get to the pièce de résistance, the PS4. This is one meme I found. Are you familiar with what's going on with the guys over there at DK Oldies?
I've heard something, and I'm not sure totally what it is.
Yeah, the guy they're in hot water. There's a lot of controversy because they're not doing the work on the consoles, and they're sending out dusty, beat up consoles. But they've made a DK Oldies Joey Halloween costume. It includes ripping you off even more than the first time. And then you spent how much on that? There you go. There's the Joey costume. Poor bastard's getting heat. The guy got death threats. I feel bad for him. I'm laying off him. This will be the last thing I say about DK.
It's not his company. He's just the face of the social media.
I know, yeah, but he's the one getting all the heat because of it. I thought this was funny. I hope I don't offend anybody with this one, but Jesus saves after every level. Yeah, there's that.
That's so great.
Here's one more. Billy, what have you done? Getting your games graded adds more value. Yeah, gross. Shoot it again. Kind of goes against what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. We were the last week's episode. We caught a ban. Well, would you call it a ban or just flagged?
No, YouTube flagged, demonetized the episode, and I had to have it put it under review and things like that, which it did get approved on in the end, but initially it was flagged.
We beat the appeal, and I think the reason was all the butt memes. But yeah, this is last episode. That Bloodborne, that's the special edition Bloodborne right there. Get the hell out of here. Everything else can go to hell. Also, Amaranth, I don't know if you guys are familiar with her. She is a popular, is she a Twitch streamer?
Yeah.
Yes. I guess she does like hot tub streams and she's a booby streamer. But anyway, she put out a tweet saying, which do you prefer, me or the PlayStation Plus Collectors Podcast? Gentlemen, I'm glad to say we've won by a landslide. So fuck you, Amaranth. And
is that PlayStation
78,000 votes? Where are all those viewers?
What's that?
Is that PlayStation Collectors Podcast on the left or the right?
No, we're on the. If you look at the, we're neither of those.
Oh, okay.
unless
Now I get-
Pigsy's hiding something under that desk. But no, it's the. Yeah, this is a tweet. But they have 76 to 24%. So one more. I thought this was funny. Me, you suck at this game, kid, on the Xbox. I still banged your mom. Me looks at mom. Mom holding back tears. We were going to tell you. But anyway,
it's the worst way to find out.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is this week's edition of that's meme time. Anyway, Jason, how many games we got in this juicy PS4 stack?
Let's see, 1, 2. I've got 11 here.
All right, man. Let's get to it.
Go for it.
Okay, no particular order. Well, I'll get this one out of the way because I mentioned it earlier, but of course, Poop Slinger. Got this
I think
one.
It's the first time this has appeared on the podcast in person.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Should I put it next to NBA Elite, and it could be like a little buddy?
That can be the thumbnail, yeah.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So arguably the grail of PS4 collecting, right there.
Apparently, yeah. So I got this on.
Found out with 1,000 copies.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure 1,000 must have been made, right? But allegedly 84 were sold. Who knows if that's true? There's no way to verify anything, but it is super hard to get and it's expensive. But I got lucky and I bought it on April 1st from the website for $25. So,
Jason, how didn't you show that one for worst covers?
I don't know. But my favorite actual worst cover is the back cover of the guy with the toilet paper. I think that's the best.
Does it say limited run? Oh, it's limited rare.
Limited rare.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, there's a lot of speculation that this first limited rare release is a different company from the current version of limited rare, and that this was allegedly.
I'm in that belief as well because it's a different Twitter account that does it, and you're spending money to that random Twitter account.
I agree. I think it's not the same company. So I think that this is the only real limited rare game. I think the new limited rare is a whole different entity. And the theory is this was really Josh and Doug with their real April Fool's joke that went awry. That's speculation. So I'm not claiming to know anything, but I could believe it.
Well, if that's the case, copies aren't going to show up in drones. They're going to show up one at a time on eBay.
Yep. So
we'll see. To the masses.
We'll see. I mean, I had a couple of copies of this as well. I sold my extras. I was like, if this is a hoax, then I can get my money back off PayPal, and it wasn't a hoax. So that was awesome.
It's funny you say that because I thought the same thing about Tamishi. But by the time Tamishi arrived, it had already been like 9 months, and PayPal's policy is 6 months.
I remember that. And I'm like, I hope they freaking ship it. Because, this Poop Slinger shipped in like 2 weeks. So Tamashi, like 9 months. So speaking of that, I'll just get that out of the way. Tamashi. So
very, very nice.
Also got this on Halloween, like when it went on sale, got it at retail. I just quote unquote retail their original asking price. And no eBay prices, got it for whatever it was, $30.
No regrets selling my copy.
Did you grab was that Wiener Pit? No, something Pit, Demon's Pit. What was the other one that
So since we're going that way, Demon Pit was the next one. And I'm not going to show regular Demon Pit, but I've got here the gold variant cover of Demon Pit. So there were 60 copies allegedly made of this. The first, I don't know, like 10 or 20 or whatever, you could only get by entering this. There are videos on the weird competition that you had to go through in order to win a copy of this. So I won't go through it, but there are interesting videos that tell you about what you had to do. I had to go through a series of cryptic puzzles that I had to. It took me a week of a lot of sleepless nights trying to figure out what did I have to do to get this thing. And I didn't know this is what I would get, but I hoped that it would be this because I had shown a photo of it right before. And it was it. So I got this for literally free and I won it. And I hope to never do that crap again. Like I had to earn like the hardest achievement in Tamashi, and prove it. I had to own a copy of their physical novel or whatever it is that they release and find it and find a hidden message in there. This is like 2 of 6 steps.
Oh my
It was
god.
insane. And I had to prove all of it.
Unlimited Rare Games. Have you got their NFT for that supposed next project?
Yep, I do. So I can't remember what that title was anymore, but yes, I bought 3 NFTs.
Antarctica. Oh, you bought the FOMO copy?
I did that too. Yeah, so the one for the NFTs, they haven't said what the game is, and then there was another one where they had the hey, buy 4 and you get the FOMO copy. I did that as well because I'm a sucker, but I love it. You know, I'm addicted.
They're watching this podcast right now, going.
I'm one of their best customers. You know, if I spent like a week trying to earn this thing, then yeah, they've got me.
You deserve that, though.
I'd like to think so. It was a crazy series of things. Like you got to look up the YouTube video. I can't remember who did it, but the information is out there.
Next time we get you on the show, I'll definitely get you to tell this entire story in whole because it sounds really, really interesting.
I have a series of crazy memes that they sent me on DM that I had to go through and decrypt. Oh, actually, literally, there were encrypted messages. I had to find decoding ciphers to actually decrypt what the clues were. It was insane. No joke.
Sounds like you would have enjoyed this, Will, honestly.
It was crazy. But actually, the very first step of that quest, they actually called it a quest, is that you had to physically open up a copy of the regular demon pit. On the back was a decrypted message saying, open me for prize inside or whatever. I think it said prize inside. So once you open it, there was a on the disc itself, I think it said turn over for surprised face. And then inside the little booklet, it's actually said DM us for further instructions. Nobody opens limited rare games.
Yeah.
Right? You had to actually go through and commit to opening this limited rare game to actually begin on this quest to get this thing.
Oh, man.
Yep. So next up.
I remember this, and that's that. I stopped at step 1. I'm not opening my sealed copy.
Yeah.
You're not a true fan.
And so the only open copies out there are like me and the 10 people who did it. Because he was going to open that, right?
The only people that have open copies have got the sealed variant sitting next to it.
That's exactly right. It's the irony, right? But I got more than 1 copy, so I still have a sealed copy of the regular because I'm crazy.
Nice.
Okay, next up, again, no particular order. I don't know the story of this. I assume it was an error, but apparently some Walmart stores in the US, like last year, started appearing in a handful of Walmarts. Resident Evil 3 in a red box.
Oh.
So it's one of those greatest hits boxes, but somehow Resident Evil got put in there, and this is like a factory sealed. Some Walmarts got it variant. Like, I think this was an error, but no one's really figured out for sure why this exists. It was
really cool. Just because I like the trend that Reggie started on PS3.
Oh God!
All these horror games in the red cases.
Yeah,
so it really follows on from that. Like someone's gone, "Oh, I want in the red case. Let's do it."
Not a fan of that little thing he's done now. But that's another game that without the seal, who's going to believe you? Who's going to buy
exactly?
That's
so
crazy.
Sealed, it looks great sealed, but if it were open, it'd be like, why did you switch out the blue case? It doesn't make any sense.
Because you saw Reggie's video.
Exactly. So, no particular order once again. Because I touched on it earlier, the unreleased Nicalis games, or Nicholas, 1001 Spikes. PS4 copy, probably slightly less valuable. I don't know if it's slightly less rare. Probably just as rare as the Vita one. Vita collectors.
Vita collectors are more crazy than PS4 collectors.
Exactly. So it's probably the same-ish number that are out there. This is a sealed copy as well.
Tasty.
So again, they claimed this would come out. Hasn't come out. I doubt it's coming out. Maybe it'll come out. No one really knows, right? So there's that.
Comes out the 23rd of January, 2023.
Someday, maybe, right? Like when they're on PS6 and they're doing their last run of PS4 games, they'll ship it. Who knows? So here's another weird one. Okay, so a couple of years back, I Am 8-Bit put out What Remains of Edith Finch, which is, it's a standard limited game. It's like it's a release that there's a lot of copies out there, right? And it was released in kind of a weird seal. It's not quite a heat shrink.
Yeah, it's the heat shrink seal. I've got a copy as well.
Yeah, but what's interesting is that the promo copies came in a Y-fold. So not only did it come in a Y-fold, the cover is different.
Oh, look at that. Is that one hole punched as well?
It is.
Never seen that before, Jason.
Yep. It's a weird one. It's a little documented. And what's interesting about this is that so the cover, I actually reached out to I Am 8-Bit to ask about it. Like, why are there two different covers? What happened there? What they actually told me is that the first cover was like an error. Like you can barely read the title. And the texture of the paper, I'll take it out. It's because the reflection is killing it. You can kind of barely make out the title. It's like super, super overly subtle.
Yeah, I can see the...
And then when they reprinted it, it's legible, right? But this one has a different kind of texture, and I guess it was a printing error. So if you look at it in the right light, it's pretty cool. You could see it, but barely. And it's got the Y-fold.
That's cool. That's really cool.
It's really unique.
So it's a weird one. So that one...
Have you got the Y-fold of Firewatch?
I do.
Is it in this little pile, or is it just in the collection?
It's on the shelf. I didn't take that. I can show it, but yeah, like I when I purchased it originally for Unlimited Run, I got the heat shrink, and then I heard about the Y-fold because Josh talked about it on Twitter, and I went looking for it on eBay. I found it, and I upgraded, and I sold my heat seal, and so I got the Y-fold. And
that was one game where I opened it and I wanted to play it, so I'm happy with an open copy. And the fact that I got a heat shrink copy made me opening it, that decision. All right, I'm definitely opening this. If I had a Y seal, I probably would have never played it.
Yeah, totally understandable. Like I downloaded it. I got it as a PSN download, and I'm so glad I played through it. But I love having it sealed. I probably couldn't have brought even opening a heat shrink. I probably couldn't have done it because I'm just like that, So next up, I'm trying to go quick here at the end because I spent a little too long on some of the earlier ones. This is one I've never seen anybody talk about. It's totally bizarre, and I think that especially PAL full set collectors are going to be very interested in this. So Sodesco. Sodesco, like there's a following among collectors of the Sodesco titles in particular. So they released Xenon Racer, and it's a pretty common game, right? So check this out.
Ooh.
This is confusing. I'm going to take this out of the box.
The Chinese cover on
it is
PAL game?
It's a Chinese cover. It's a PAL game. Back cover is in Chinese, but it is a European PEGI rated PAL game that was only released in, I think, Hong Kong.
So that's interesting because that's that's a $5 game now. Like some of their titles are $20. That one going for $5. So you might be able to get it on eBay really cheap.
Yeah, it's a worthless game. Now. It's a worthless game, but I mean, what is up with this, right? So it's not even like it's an Asian English release. It is an English. Sorry, it's an Asian PAL release that was only sold in Hong Kong. So that's weird. I've never seen anybody really talk about that one, but I just like it. I don't think it's really necessarily worth a ton. It's just really weird and hard to get if you want it.
I'm looking on eBay now. I can't see any on there, but I will definitely be keeping my eyes out for one in the future.
Games not on the radar. What else we got?
So speaking of a couple of these now, one of these Nicolo, I think, did talk about, or maybe it was somebody else on the podcast, another Jason who was on recently. Somebody talked about this.
Who I'm going to ask about that Resident Evil sealed game because he's going for a full PS4 seal set. So I'm curious if he knows about that one.
Well, speaking of horror, not specifically that one, but so Nightfall, he mentioned it. So this one,
UK copy, awesome.
yep. So the UK copy, there's actually two seals. There's a heat shrink, and there's the much more uncommon Y-fold. I actually bought it off Amazon UK, like for whatever the retail was, like $15 or whatever, 15 pounds, whatever. It was cheap, but I got the heat shrink, and then I learned there was a Y-fold, and I sought that out, and I finally found the Y-fold to upgrade to. So, yeah, German fairly common relatively, but the UK totally uncommon. And so that was by UIG, who's known for their crappy simulation games, right? And so to continue with that theme of a game that's relatively common but not in the English cover, this is one I searched for years, right? I am so glad to have this. I'm going to take it out of the plastic. But Space Blaze, the UK PEGI rated version.
Ooh.
The German version, fairly common. It's maybe like a €30 kind of game. But the UK version, I'm sorry, this isn't UK. It was actually only released at, I think, Game in Spain. It was a Spanish release.
Regardless, it doesn't have the UK, the German rating. It's got the PEGI rating, which looks much better.
Correct.
Oh, yeah, it's not multi-region release. So on the back, it's got Italy, Germany.
Correct. Yeah. And so
Italy, France, Spain, and UK.
Correct. Just to correct myself. Yeah. So it was, I think, a Game in Spain, and it was at FNAC in France. Those were the two retailers that carried it. And they never got a restock, as far as I understand.
Possibly UK and Italy as well, with the language being on the back.
You would think so, but I have not heard of them, of UK or Italy having it. So maybe, but not that I've heard of. Disc is identical to the German one. It's got the USK rating on there. But this cover is hard as hell to find. I looked forever, and I paid too much for this piece of paper, but I'm really happy to have it.
We can all say we've paid too much money for pieces of paper.
Exactly.
And plastic.
Totally. And same disc, which is painful, but I love seeing it on my shelf with the better rating. And so I've got two left here for PS4. I kind of think of them as a set, but they're not exactly a set. So this is, and again, I don't care about sports games at all. When it comes to NBA Elite and things like that, I make notable exceptions. This is a very weird cover variant of NBA 2K18. ESRB rated.
Has this got something to do with him leaving the team, like as they put out the cover and they had to change it or something?
No, it was apparently, and notice on the back, promotional only instead of a barcode. So this is sealed. So the way that you would have gotten this one is apparently, this is referred to as the Nike Connect edition. So you can see here on the cover, it mentions Nike Connect Special Edition. And the way that you would have gotten this is apparently like Nike. I'm not a Nike person. I'm not like a sneakerhead, but apparently Nike products came with points at the time. Maybe they still do. I'm not sure. But you could collect these points and redeem them on their website.
Oh.
And the only way to get this cover was to redeem it for Nike points for a limited time.
So were these your Nike points you used, or did you buy it after? Okay.
I found it on eBay from a guy who apparently was like a reseller, and he redeemed it for all this. Like, he would sell the shoes, but then he would keep the points and redeem them and just get stuff and just stick it on eBay.
Oh.
My question would be then, is there like 10,000 copies sitting in the Nike warehouse waiting for someone to redeem, or were they making them on demand, which they wouldn't have been doing? It would have been the other way around.
I assume they had like a case of however many, and maybe they eventually redeemed them. You know, they people got them all. I'm not sure. I have no clue. I have no idea how many there were.
Once that case was empty, they took that promotion off of their website.
Exactly, and it would be sold out or no longer available.
Oh, it's so cool. I love that story.
It's a weird one. And so this is the last one I've got here in my stack. So similar-ish story, right? So that was NBA 2K18. I've got here a crazy rare version of NBA 2K19.
Astro World. Oh, yeah, okay, interesting.
So this is the Travis Scott.
Oh my god. Oh my god. So obviously there was a controversy at this festival.
That's when everyone got died of crowd crush.
That was after this, but it wasn't long after this. Same idea, promotional use only, for the lack of a barcode. This is a sealed copy as well. The way that you would get this is at what was the event? It was for a magazine. I can't remember what it was called, but it was it was an event that was held in Long Beach. It was around the time it came out, late 2018. Their influencer, their social media influencer, I think his name is like Ronnie2K. He actually put out on Twitter the day before the event, "Hey, find me at the event, and if you find me and I have copies of this on hand, I will just hand it to you." There were 250 that they brought, 250 for PS4 and 250 for Xbox One. So there's the Xbox One version as well. And the only way to get it was at that event, and if you found him in the crowd and asked for it.
So did you
saying Coachella maybe?
ComplexCon, that was it. It was.
Did you find him, or did you buy this one after the fact?
I bought that one after the fact. So I heard about it a couple days later. I think this was the name of the event.
I've never heard of this ever, so this is really cool news to me. This is now on my radar.
It's insane. It's a crazy one. And so Travis Scott did the soundtrack for that particular game, and so that's why he was in any way involved. Rather than have a player there, they put him on the cover. I think Travis Scott was at the event too. He might have performed.
Having him and Astroworld on the cover is crazy though. After what's happened,
yeah, it's especially crazy after that, right? So 250 copies. That's the story with that one, and that's probably. I think that is more rare than I want to say. It's more rare than Poop Slinger. Maybe not if there's 250 versus 84, but to me, this is the rarest PS4 North American game that I know of.
Oh man, I wish you would have told me this not on the show, because now I gotta have all these other dickheads looking for it as well.
There's a couple people already looking, so you're I didn't just ruin it for everyone.
We're gonna start pre-recording the shows.
Yeah.
We'll be like, and we bought our copies.
Yeah, look what I got.
Go back and censor it. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Jason, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a really good 2 and almost a half hours. Your collection's absolutely insane. Some of the most amazing games I've ever seen. So thanks again.
You certainly brought the fire tonight, man. Good job. Thanks for coming on. And we're gonna make the Nicolo Jason multi-show happen here at some point.
Nicolo's moving soon, so we'll wait for Nicolo to get all settled into his new place, and then we'll definitely tee that up. So a couple of months' time. On Thursday, Friday, guys, we have a big PS3 collector coming on, Kevin Walters. If any of you guys are from the PS3 collectors group, you'd know Kevin. He has a full PAL set. He is absolutely insane with variants. He's basically like the PAL version of Ricky Andre. So it should be a really fun episode. I'm looking forward to having Kevin on.
The PAL version of Ricky Andre? That's got to be gross. Just kidding, Kevin. We'll look forward to it. From me, from Pigsy, and I'm sure from Jason. Good night, everybody.
Peace, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.